Number 5 Chapter 5, The Lone Prairie Wolf. His parents were both extremely traditional middle-aged people. His mother worked at a bank in the county, and his father was also an ordinary wage earner. As for his younger brother, Zongs, who was 1 year younger than him, he was much more at ease. His brother was smart since he was a child and was a veteran of strategy games. He believed that even without a strategy system, he would be able to start smoothly. In fact, that background selection was more like a psychological test. Different choices correspond to different personality preferences and attributes. From the looks of it, this game is still fair. They are divided into different batches and teleport over according to different age levels and physical conditions. Otherwise, if 3 to 5-month-old babies, 70 to 80-year-old people, people with physical disabilities, and those with serious illnesses were all teleported over in one go. Wouldn't that be a mess? That wouldn't be a survival game, but a pure massacre game. If all of this was really caused by some unfathomable existence, then this existence certainly wouldn't want to see mere death, right? After all, only struggle and survival are exciting. After thinking for a moment, Zhong Shen used his mind to send the first message in the friends channel. Ace, how are you now? In the next moment, a new message was refreshed. It was almost an instant reply, which shows that Zongs was also checking the information. I'm fine, brother. You have to be careful. Even near the Lord's Manor, you may encounter danger. During the 3-day protection period, try not to leave the Lord's Manor too far. My place is full of mountains. I just vaguely heard the roar of a tiger. Now I am carefully collecting supplies. Zong's progress was actually a little faster than him. Okay, take care of yourself, safety first. There is a Baluta city 2,100 kilometers away from you. You can pay attention to news about it. Zhong Shen instructed again. By the way, Ace, did you load any special modules when you came in? Or did any strategies or notes appear? He thought about it and decided to ask Zongs whether he had encountered a similar situation. No, bro. As soon as I entered, there were only a few light curtain messages asking me to choose my background. Okay. I see. Keep in touch. Okay, bro, you too, be careful. After a brief exchange, Zhong Shen immediately understood. He also didn't tell Zongs that he could see strategies and notes for the time being. It seems that the strategy module is indeed only available to him alone. Of course, it is also possible that Zongs, like him, has obtained adventures, but both chose not to say it for the time being. He didn't know if there were other people in this world who had adventures and golden fingers. Zhong Shen was silent for a while and closed the channel option. Now, there is still a personal option that has not been checked. It should be some information about his own attributes or skills. Overall, this is an extremely game-like reality. Or rather, this is an extremely realistic game. It has a unique system and perfect settings. Just as he was about to check it out. Outside the small courtyard, there were cries for help and hurried running sounds from 3 farmers. Lord, save us! Prairie wolf! There is a prairie wolf! Upon hearing this, Zhong Shen immediately got up, holding a shield in one hand and a rusty one-handed sword in the other, and came to the outside of the small courtyard. Why not use a crossbow? Because Zhong Shen still had some self-awareness. For him, who had no combat experience, it was obviously more reliable to hold a shield and sword than to use a crossbow. He looked outside the courtyard. I saw 3 silly farmers running wildly, abandoning their tools and collected supplies behind them. And the creature that made them so frightened was a prairie wolf that looked like a wolfhound. Zhong Shen took a step back, stood within the courtyard, and waited in full battle. At the same time, he beckoned the 3 silly farmers to come in. Come in quickly. The entire outside of the courtyard was covered by a layer of light cover that appeared and disappeared from time to time. It should be the so-called novice protection state. The 3 silly farmers abandoned all their burdens and ran faster than the wolf at full speed. Finally, at the critical moment, Taiju, Ergo, and Go Dan, the 3 silly farmers, almost ran into the small courtyard at the same time. The prairie wolf also pounced directly towards the courtyard fiercely. Zhong Shen narrowed his eyes and firmly held the kite shield in front of him. Prepared for the worst. Zhong Shen, as his name suggests, prudence is his first principle. He would rather make more preparations than leave loopholes for himself. If the novice protection state cannot stop the prairie wolf, then he can quickly enter the attack state. Bang! Ouch! A sound of collision and the wailing of the prairie wolf came. The light cover outside the small courtyard flashed suddenly and suddenly became solid. I saw the prairie wolf hit the light cover outside the small courtyard. Then it was directly rebounded back. Fell on the grass. A bright red number floated above its head. 15. It couldn't get up for a long time, obviously hit dizzy. Zhong Shen stared at the prairie wolf intently, and immediately there were system prompts and strategies in gold font in brackets. Prairie wolf LV3. Race, Beast. Bite damage, 1517. HP, 130/145. Armor, 10. Skills, Pounce, Throat Crush. A lone prairie wolf, don't worry about encountering its companions. Its waist and nose are its weaknesses. With your current equipment, be careful and maneuver enough to eliminate it. There is even a HP setting? Zongshen instantly understood. But there was still some apprehension in his heart. The 3 timid and unarmed silly farmers could not be counted on. I can only rely on myself. Wild monster, this is a wild monster. Zongshen kept implying to himself in his heart. Summoned his courage, holding a shield and sword, and walked out of the small courtyard. Lord is so brave. But we are so cowardly. I feel so guilty. Me too. The loyalty of the 3 silly farmers increased by 5 points to you, and the current loyalty is 7-5. The loyalty of the farmer Ergo to you has increased by 5 points, and the current loyalty is 7-5. The loyalty of the farmer Godan to you has increased by 5 points, and the current loyalty is 7-5. A series of prompts refreshed in the corner of the field of vision. Good fellow, his behavior of standing up actually increased the loyalty of the 3 silly farmers. But now is not the time to consider loyalty. The prairie wolf has already struggled to get up. Obviously, he has recovered from the violent impact just now. Its eyes flickered with cruel eyes. Did not choose to attack Zongshen directly. Instead, he was constantly slowly retreating, trying to stay away from this small courtyard. Number 6 Chapter 6 Wolf Cavalry Recruitment Scroll. Cunning thing. Zongshen had already seen through this prairie wolf's plan. The prairie wolf was luring him away from the small courtyard. Without the protection of the small courtyard's newbie protection state, the prairie wolf could calmly launch an attack on Zongshen. Although this world had some game-like characteristics, as could be seen from the prairie wolf and his 3 silly farmers, the creatures of this world also had their own thoughts and feelings. This gave Zongshen a deeper understanding of this magical world. Wolves are unruly and vengeful. Since this prairie wolf had already set its sights on him and the others, it would not leave easily. Thinking of this, he did not choose to chase it, but instead retreated step by step into the Lord's small courtyard. Sure enough, the prairie wolf stopped retreating, standing still and staring at Zongshen. As if it wanted to devour Zongshen with its eyes. But Zongshen didn't care, he put down his shield and one-handed sword, and gave the prairie wolf a mocking smile. Sure enough, the prairie wolf pounced again, this time it seemed to have learned a lesson and did not cross the boundary again. It just wandered back and forth on the grass 3 meters away from the small courtyard. The nature of wolves is like this, they are strong when you are weak, and weak when you are strong. Zongshen retreated, and it advanced. Trying to surround Zongshen and make his spirit collapse. At this moment, Zongshen grinned and took down the hunting crossbow from his back. He took an arrow from the quiver at his waist and drew the bowstring. Even with Zongshen's obviously strengthened strength, he could feel the powerful tension when drawing the bowstring. The power of this hunting crossbow is definitely not ordinary. Although the attributes indicated that the hunting crossbow had 33 points of piercing damage, Zongshen did not yet understand the concept behind these values. He snapped the arrow into the hunting crossbow's firing slot. Aimed at the prairie wolf. A few meters away, the prairie wolf vigilantly sized up the hunting crossbow in Zongshen's hand. It was not yet a fully grown prairie wolf. It was still in its growth period. Adult prairie wolves are much larger than it. Not to mention the existence of wolf kings and the like. The prairie wolf in front of him seemed to have been separated from the pack and thus become isolated. Therefore, still in its growth period, it had never seen a hunting crossbow before, but instinctively felt that this thing was somewhat dangerous. When Zongshen raised the hunting crossbow, he discovered another very favorable situation. In front of his eyes, a golden crosshair appeared. At the same time, the wolf's waist, nose, eyes, and other weak points were also marked with golden circles. The golden walkthrough was jumping to the side. Aim your crosshair at the circles on this wolf cub, at this distance, as long as you are not blind, you can hit it. Zongshen understood when he saw the prompt, and aimed the crosshair at the golden circle marking the prairie wolf's eye. Then, he unhesitatingly pulled the trigger of the hunting crossbow. Clang! Whoosh! A vibration sound of the bowstring rebounding came. Then, there was an extremely sharp sound of air being torn. Awoo! What followed was the wailing of the prairie wolf. The crossbow arrow accurately hit the prairie wolf's eye, directly penetrating most of it, and the tail of the arrow was still trembling. Above the prairie wolf's head, a series of bright red and conspicuous damage values floated out. 50. 9. 5. 4. The hunting crossbow itself has 33 piercing damage, plus the curved arrow has another 8 points of piercing damage, and there may be its own attribute bonus. This shows that the eyes are indeed unprotected weak points, so this attack from the hunting crossbow caused full damage. As for the subsequent damage values, they should be the continuous damage caused after the arrow was inserted. Zongshen silently observed everything, and had a certain understanding of the attack and damage calculation in this world. There was no way, facing this completely unfamiliar world, everything needed to be constantly explored and summarized. At least he still had the walkthrough module, others probably could only rely on game experience to guess blindly. After the arrow hit the prairie wolf, Zongshen put the hunting crossbow at his feet. He grabbed the kite shield and one-handed sword again and rushed out. At this time, the prairie wolf's health was only 62/145 left, less than half. Now that it was in pain and injured, how dare it continue to stay here? It staggered and turned around, tucked its tail between its legs, and was about to flee. How could Zongshen let it slip away from under his nose? He held the shield in one hand and the sword in the other, and quickly rushed up. The prairie wolf's movements were much slower after being injured. Zongshen's speed was very fast, and with the ebb and flow of the situation, he quickly caught up to the prairie wolf's back. He hardened his heart, and the rusty one-handed sword in his right hand slashed down at the wolf's waist. Blood spurted out immediately, scattering on the surrounding grass. A bloody smell immediately began to permeate. The seemingly rusty one-handed sword in his hand neatly split the prairie wolf's fur, followed by the prairie wolf's screams and bright red damage numbers. 2-2. This damage is indeed not as high as the hunting crossbow. This part is protected by fur, although it is marked as a weak point, it is still considered to have armor, unlike the eyes. You have ignored the impact of your strength attribute on damage determination, you will be even stronger after you add points in personal. When he had doubts in his mind, the walkthrough prompt appeared again. Seeing this walkthrough, Zongshen's doubts were dispelled a lot, and he began to concentrate on dealing with the battle. At this time, the prairie wolf's waist and eyes were severely damaged, and it only had 42 health points left, and its body became even more staggered and weak. This is my first prey since coming to this world. Kill. Zongshen gritted his teeth and slashed the wolf's body twice again. 2-2. 2-0. The prairie wolf's health points were instantly cleared. All vitality disappeared. A system prompt appeared at the bottom of his vision. Zongshen moved his mind, and this prompt immediately appeared in front of him. Killed LV3 prairie wolf. Gained 55 experience points. Wolf Rider recruitment scroll ×1. Prairie wolf corpse ×1, click to decompose. Then, a flash of white light. Some light spots suddenly appeared on the wolf corpse and merged into Zongshen's body. These are the concretization of experience points. In place, in addition to a wolf corpse, there was also a scroll with peculiar inscriptions all over it. It really is a setting similar to wild monsters. It can drop equipment. Behind him, the three silly farmers who were hiding in the small courtyard watching, saw their lord showing great power and killing the prairie wolf. They ran out cheering. Long live the lord! Following in the footsteps of the lord, we will definitely become nobles. We will die for the lord. These three flatterers shouted slogans and ran to Zongshen's side with their tails wagging. Looking at the prairie wolf's corpse with a greedy look. In their eyes, this is not a wolf corpse. It's meat. It's fresh meat. The kind of fresh meat that can sizzle and bubble with oil as long as it is roasted on a bonfire. This book has already received a short message from the signing station. Those who haven't invested, hurry up and invest.